Thank you for joining our Future Events live stream series today. We will be going live every other Thursday at 11:15 to give you all the inside scoop on all things events. Today, we will be discussing how to begin with the end in mind and why your event planning should start with the strategy.
But before we start, if you're watching this on LinkedIn, Facebook, or Instagram, please share, comment, and like below, and that would make our day.
I'm Amanda Ma, founder and Chief Experience Officer of Innovate Marketing Group. We are a virtual and live experience agency that provides full-service events and activation for top brands such as TikTok, Honda, and East West Bank. Today, I am joined by our awesome Jacqueline Ho. She's one of our senior corporate event manager here at Innovate Marketing Group. We will be, I'm very excited to jump right in to talk about this topic. Like we mentioned, we will be discussing how to begin with the end in mind and really focusing on strategy before you get started. So my first question for you, Jacqueline, is often it's so tempting for us, to jump right in and work on the creative and just all the details. But why is it so important to kind of take a step back and plan the overall strategy before jumping in?
Yes, the entertainment portion is always so much fun to do. You get very out there with different solutions, but I think more importantly is to take a look at the overall event and how your attendees will even get there. If they can't even log in, if they can't even get to your event, they won't even be able to see the wonderful entertainment you have set for them. So I think before you even jump into the fun stuff, take a step back and look holistically at your event from beginning to end. What is the experience going to be like for your attendees?
That's so true. Like we oftentimes will work with our clients even on the communication before the event, right? Making sure they know how to log on, how to find the link to get in, or what to expect even, right? Because there's so many platforms out there, just like an in-person event, when you will provide direction, how to get to a venue. In this case, you talk about how you get to the virtual venue.
You can always talk about like what is needed for your event too. If they need networking or exhibitor booths, those will give you a different outcome in terms of what platform or structure you want to choose for your event. So think of it as a full picture before we dive into some of the fun stuff.
And that just reminds me, one of the event we did, they actually have specific browser that works the best for them. So even them letting them know like Chrome is best for the best experience. Please be on your laptop versus just on your phone, right? Although now we're going to hybrid events, so understanding now we need to be making sure that experience is really good on the laptop and on the phone. All right, next question. So when it comes to event strategy, what does that mean exactly? And what does the strategy include?
So event strategy is something that we excel in here at Innovate Marketing Group, but it starts from beginning to end. A lot of times when people start planning, they want to jump right into what is your program. But even before you start the program, there is the marketing for it. There is the registration, like I mentioned before, how your attendees are even going to view and get to your program. And then it even extends to after that, the execution and all of that. You have your analytics and then your follow-up, because those are also opportunities. Sometimes our clients forget that there is still follow-up to do because that there's still people and metrics that you can capture even after your event. So with our event strategy, we really take it holistically from beginning to end, helping you think big picture of all the little components so that you can get everything you can out of your event.
And I know one of the event strategy we used a lot last year is with our Events to Go kits. So we actually curated these boxes with lots of activities or things that are relevant for the event, including some of these paddles, so that it actually reminds people the week of like, oh, this conference is coming up, this gala is coming up, I'm going to get ready for it. And inside it has like a congratulation letter or some messaging that just reminds you the event's coming up and kind of build that excitement, right? And we all love gifts versus junk mail, or at least I do.
Yeah, so we help think of the messaging through everything. Even if we're going to send you a package ahead of time, there's going to be some elements here that are a little bit surprising, like these cards or other messaging, QR codes that kind of engage your attendees even before the day of your event. So,
yeah. So we often say here at Innovate Marketing Group, begin with the end in mind, which is one of our best practices here. And a tip from one of my favorite books, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. They're not sponsoring this session. I do love this book by Stephen Covey. And we actually use a lot of the practices here from this book. So I guess if we could share, I just want to share with you exactly how do we do this? And maybe Jacqueline, you could provide some examples.
Yeah, so beginning with the end in mind is something that we practice here, especially with the event strategy. Looking at what your attendee experience is going to be like at the very end will help us decide how we're going to carry it out through this process. For example, one of our conferences, it typically is a 5-day event, very long, but after looking at kind of the situation in which we were in the middle of a pandemic, we actually recommended them to condense down to 3 days a week, or 3 days of a conference, only because it had the same result that they wanted for 5 days. And it just made more sense to condense it down. It was more engaging to their attendees, and overall it was very successful by condensing it down.
Yeah, and I would say that event was so successful. In fact, we had a 90% engagement rate, which even the platform was reaching out to us and say, how did you do that? And we can't share all our secrets, but we're very happy to see such success with that particular event and with a lot of our other events, because we really begin with the end in mind, thinking about the client journey, thinking about the strategy, and how to incorporate that in all the elements and throughout the whole experience, from the pre-event communication to the kits that arrive to the actual day of, and also to the wrap up. Taking advantage of that holistic client journey that you have to take the time to map it out. Awesome. Were there any other strategies that you wanted to share that, and not strategy, begin with the end in mind?
Yeah, we did another one where we are connecting our clients with their clients. So that engagement level needed to be present during the pandemic. And another way that we surprise and delight them was utilizing fun talent. So we had everyone was doing cocktail hours during the pandemic. It seemed to be something that people enjoyed. But what we had was we hired a talent that was also well-known and then had other talents. So the person we hired was also on American Idol, and she was able to not only teach our attendees how to make our cocktail beverages, but also she sang for them and made it fun. So I think that was one added element that we could bring to the table when we're having a virtual event. It's not just making cocktails and enjoying it, though that's fun, but we also added an extra element that people weren't expecting.
And I love it when we do that, right? Because we usually do a lot of surprise and delight in person and, try to spark joy in a lot of events we do, but we continue to do that via virtually, and I know once we go back to in person, we'll continue to do that as well. So that's really fun. So, I want to share a little bit more about the book also. So for those of you that haven't purchased it, go ahead and get a copy. I read this. I was introduced to this book when I was in college at Boston University, and I just fell in love with this book. And through my career, I would say I pick up this book and reread it every few years. And I actually end up now, for our interns that come through here, when they finish their internship, I buy them each a copy because I wanted to help them in their career and professionally. So I would love to hear from some of you. If you could put your favorite tips and favorite books, whether it's to help you with event strategy or help you cultivate that begin with the end in mind mindset, put it in the comment section and share with us what are some of your favorite books that you read. Thank you so much for tuning in today. And if your company is looking for an engaging virtual or hybrid event experience, give us a call. We do all the work. You take all the credit, and make sure to check out our website for more updates. And also, for those of you that haven't checked out our podcast, it's called Event Up. Make sure to tune in. You can find us on Apple and Spotify. And we actually do some, we have upcoming, in addition to our own team, but we also have some guest speakers that we have invited. So very exciting. Make sure you tune in and check that out. Remember, we go live every other Thursday at 11:15.
See you next time.
Bye.